All right, we're live. What's up, everybody? It's been a while, I know, since we've done an episode of the Hot Box. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of fun, interesting things. Moved to a state that's a little more tolerable to weed, we should say. So yeah, things are. It's gonna be good. Very exciting. We'll play a little music here. I'm gonna go grab a drink, and then yeah, we'll start the show. So.
Here we go now, baby, here we go now. Here we go now, baby, here we go now. Here we go now, baby, here we go now. Here we go now, baby, here we go now. What's the time? It's 4:20. 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 It's 4:20. Sad thing is, I've no money. So let's go out and try to score something. I'm a laid-back board game, out sword playing. Of course, I crave something more cunning. Damn, son, this shit's sticky like glue. And it got more crystals in it than a strip club do. Call it rocket fuel, gonna take you to the moon. So load up a whole log up and we'll be there soon. Y'all don't be harshing up on my buzz. Pimpin' is as pimpin' does. We need a plan with an easy high. So let's take a step back and legalize. Here we go now, baby. Here we go now. Here we go now, baby. Here we go now. Here we go now, baby. Here we go now. Here we go now, baby. Here we go now. So roll that one, nigga, round in a blimp. Smoke weed by the pound. So you know I don't skip. Got the green going round. Now we all getting it. Now everybody say it with me. Hit that shit. Yo, it's been too long, or so it seems. But you know how time flies when you smoking trees. Just a little puff puff to put your mind at ease. Just please make sure the weed ain't got no seeds. Y'all don't be hushing up on my buzz. Pimpin' is as pimpin' does. Excuse me, miss, would you like to try? Just have a hit of this and kiss the sky. You know I've always loved smoking weed. I'm like Paul Bunyan chopping down the trees with my skinny babe trimming leaves in a bikini. We need to hurry up and smoke up this green meaty. So slow it down, okie dokie, let's go. Roll up some of my homies on stony homegrown. So we higher than the clouds floating in the ozone. But we're sinking in the couch cause damn we're so stoned. My utensil of choice, anything glass. Always use a bong at home blazing the grass. But if I'm on the go, I got my diachrome. We'll keep it on the down low with my sneaker toes. So roll that one, nigga, round in a blimp. Smoke weed by the pound. So you know I don't skip. Got the green going round. So we all getting lit. Now everybody say it with me. Hit that shit. Growing up, I had a tough time until I figured out I should just get fucking high. Now we smoke off the top shelf while everybody else sits and drools at the fucking smell. No way, I don't play that game and I don't understand why you haters say my name. I just wanna get blazed and spit my rap. If you ain't got shit to say, then get off my track. Get off my back, you act like a fool. You're too hot-headed, lyrical, stay cool. Dish it out like I'm Gordon Ramsay. You bitch about the heat, get out the kitchen, pansy. Yo, I spit fatness when I rap shit. We're kicking sick rhymes with the magical enchantment. I'm +5, it's a must that I bust high. You know I keep it dirty when I'm rough ride. Roll that one, nigga, round in a blimp. Smoke weed by the pound. So you know I don't skip. Got the green going round, so we all getting lit. Now everybody say it with me. Hit that shit. Find me in the school zone, driving like a cool bro, going through town to sell to everybody you know. The triple threat, write it down, please don't forget. Hit me up when you think you need to get a little lit. Blow that blunt, big around in a blimp. Smoke weed by the pound. So you know I don't skip. Got the green going round, so we all getting lit. Now everybody say it with me. Hit that shit. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. I go bump in the nightclub, buds when I write. Spend a lot of time staring up at the sky. Up late at night and lightning anyone we come into contact with that wants a ride, wanna try, wanna mind. 2 of yours, 3
you his for or her. Sounds like the right way to make this cat's night perfect. That's how it goes when these kids get a hold of a bunch of LSD hits. What's next? Dimethyltryptamine? Okay, but only if you bring the machine out to play. Sounds like the best recipe with the sets and setting that agrees with my registry. Technology, philosophy, physics, and astronomy. Logic ain't monopoly, offers entropy offering. No stopping autonomy. Honestly, dropping bombs on you and me constantly. How to kill the mockingbird's eye view, hunting the haunted awkwardly, walking backwards out of the ball pit. We need an exorcist, nah, we just need exercise, shit, and some litmus paper to test the lie. So line them up and make them testify. Sure, we can all pretend the system makes seem life broken, worthless. Hold your tongue, a bunch of jerks here, getting hung up on the phone, ready to get cold and drunk. Are you ready to get bold and told what the fuck to be when you're sold? Let me think about it. I'm not that guy, nope. I'm that guy writing the note as your whole corporate office swings from a rope. Now let's get paid overtime. The station period for these types of things is 45. Now he's old and dry like Monty Python codes and vibes. Blow by the blowback and go buy a whole sack of this dope ass rap shit from good old Matt. Can't battle this manic magic phantom, rapping bastion from Northwest Montana, trapped in this superhuman spacesuit nap. I'm ready to hit the next exit fast and make more rap. That's just a day in the life of this guy of the gaps, watching time go by, walking oddly fast. That's because my life is slowly crawling and passed out before I had a chance to get the rest of my cash out. Ghosts don't need money anyway, do they? Ghosts don't need money anyway. Ghosts don't need money anyway. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer.
Smoking weed off trees. Smoke. I'm a cannabis sack, smoking backpack, toting mad rap quote, mad show you how bad your raps are broken. Facebook poking, rhyme writing with the same gold pen. Are we gonna be writing rhymes till we're old men? Madly, 9 to 5, 5 to 3, smoking weed, the hardest work, electric eel in this whole world read. Damn man, that hole is deep, that's why I'm smoking on the freak, just to keep my whole wide world open breathe. I don't buy that Schedule 1 political, hypocritical bullshit commonly used to fool kids into thinking they rule shit. And if you do, you're a silly goose on the loose, ripping through this excuse of common confusion. My eyes turn red, focus gets the best of my attention to the detail. How the fuck am I gonna learn how to fly to the moon? Then NASA lost funding, now I'm sitting on the couch about to zoom the out Bundy. So spark it up, inhale, slow pass it to the left. Before you blow it out, make sure to save your breath. I got that one hit of quitter, make you cough up and spit a little drip, drip, dribble from your lip and then yeah.
Back up a butt, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go when we roasting balls, chillin' like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's how we roll. So pack up a butt, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go when we smoking weed, chillin' like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's what I need.
Now a lot of songs are wrote about a plan, smoking bowls every day, step away, but I can't. Inanimate love, absurd but sir. Have you ever puffed herb till your vision gets blurred? This Three mistress, inject straight from the biscuits. We insist, puff, pass, left, hit this. A little smoky smoke ain't never done damage. So I'm blazing for the nation now. Someone give me a Sam's Overlord. Spend $500 a second to arrest your brothers and sisters. Now it's your lives that wreck it. That's over $50 million. You holla. Now what shall we do about this problem? Smoke pot, sit around and babysit the couch. Now at the pumps, we're all getting gouged. And look outside, is that an enraged crowd? If you work on Wall Street, it's starting to get loud.
Back up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go when we roasting bones, chilling like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's how we roll. So pack up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go when we smoking weed, chilling like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's what I need.
Okay, so you wanna talk science? Yeah, THC may cause apoptosis and leukemia.
CBD strains like to stop seizures. And if you want the nice dream, smoke a little Cleveland steamer. That might not be the best advice. Addicts like to smoke pot to up their high. So fucking what in any way does that hurt you? Does my smoking pot fuck with your virtue? Ooh, there ain't nothing like walking through a garden with your honey and some money to make life a little less hard. But these records like to keep me on guard. You know nothing gets better when you erect dead shards. But that's okay, cause you know I ain't stressing. Second guess the key lesson and you'll hit a dead end. Compose and press and defend free land, tree smoke for every working man.
Back up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go when we roasting bones, chilling like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's how we roll. So pack up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go when we're smoking weed, chilling like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's what I need.
Pack up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go when we're roasting foes, feeling like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's how we roll. Pack up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck.
On the seventh day,
The terrors of tripping on pump.
Be there! Scour the spaceways! Explore vast alien worlds! Tin right here contains the whole rigmarole.
I used to smoke about an ounce of hash every day. And it made me go a little bonkers.
Maybe if I occupy his mind with more duties, I can control his space.
Hi, big fat doobies. Hi.
Hi. What's going on, everybody? Goodness, I'm so excited. I totally forgot to hit record on this, but that's okay because it's Hangout. It's Hangout on air. This is the Hot Box. It's Tuesday, March 24th, 2015, when I'm recording this, coming to you live from an undisclosed secret laboratory in Washington. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm in Washington now. Hotboxpodcast.com, still the site. Haven't had an episode in like almost a year. I debated whether or not I should wait until May, because then, you know, that would have been a year. But I was like, no, I'm too excited. Too much stuff happening. So yeah, here we are. Hotboxpodcast.com/live. Join us. We got a Hangout on air and we got an IRC chat. It's on Freenode if you know how to use IRC. Channel is Hotbox Podcast. So got a YouTube that we're streaming this from and all that fun stuff. So definitely check that out. We got a lot of new friends since we last spoke to you. Stuff stoners like, I gotta say, I've been doing a lot of just side reporting and articles and stuff like that for them. Stuffstonerslike.com. Awesome guys over there. Check out More Deadly Than Weed. If you remember, we had a section on the site a while ago, and it was like, you know, here's all the things, dumb shit that's killed more people than weed. Well, I'm taking those and writing more in depth on them, and you can find them. The latest one is a little more serious. Some of them are kind of more tongue in cheek, a little facetious, but this one is, of course, serious. No knock raids. They are are way more deadly than weed. So, and I point out a couple stories in there specifically about deadly instances of no-knock raids, of course. So, yeah, definitely check that out. The other thing I want to mention, a little something I started just for the fuck of it, because I have a lot of these oils and extracts to play around with and test and research on. So I did this little bit called Dab Etiquette. The first one is all about a health stone. It seems like a lot of people just they're not familiar with what a health stone is. So I ordered one because the head shops I went into, they just didn't have any. So they're like, some of them, and I mentioned this in the article. So again, on stuffstonerslike.com, there's an article called Dab Etiquette, Health Stones, Heat Gun versus a Torch. I gotta say, if you look at the slow-mo footage, the heat gun is I didn't slow-mo the heat gun, but I slow-moed the torch, and it's really just like biting a gross overcooked chunk out of your health stone. Not like physically, but it doesn't warm your stone up evenly. Eventually the stone does obviously get to the right temperature, and then it'll vaporize your oils, but you're definitely getting what I've heard it referred to as a terpene bloom, and when you're just getting way too many in there and they just in your lungs. And then you see in the video me falling over trying to catch my breath. But health stone plus heat gun, that's where it's at. Now, it's got to be like over 700 degrees, because the part that wasn't in the article is that I wanted to bring this thing to the festival, to the bar fair coming up here, and you can't just plug shit in. So I'm like, all right, I'll find a portable heat gun. Not as easy as you might think. Went on Amazon, dumped about $50 into one, and it gets up to like 700 degrees, it says, but it doesn't do the trick. It'll melt it, but it won't get it up to the temperature to vaporize it. So yeah, and I kind of explained that on, I mean, you can wiki a health stone, but basically it's an inert stone, which means when you heat it, it doesn't produce any like gas or any gross shit, right? It's clean, it's pure. So it's just an inert stone. It kind of looks like pumice or lava rock. I don't know if it is. I wouldn't really want to torch lava rock, but it works. And yeah, the rock heats up, and your dab, as you pull through whatever utensil you're using, the suction will pull the dab into the stone. And then as the stone heats up, so you're not actually getting flame on your oil and catching it on fire like you do on a bowl or whatever. It heats up to a point of vaporization as you're inhaling, and then boom, there lovely hits. But yeah, check it all out. It's on stuffstonerslike.com. Kind of doing a little partnership with those guys over there. Gonna check out Dope Cup coming up here. It's April 19th. It's up in Tukwila, Washington. And yeah, they got judges. You got people bringing their stuff and being like, this is my best. Like, let's get tested. Let's do this. The theme, I guess they do these things in themes, is state fair. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, hopefully we'll get a couple tickets and we'll be over there judging everybody's earls. So that should be fun. But yeah, I guess, man, there's so much to like tell you guys. Hopefully you've just been following me and like on social media and everything. But long story short, hopefully, is that I got a different day job, moved to Washington for it. And yeah, I work in a lab, pretty much just washing dishes right now, but I'm learning like all of the science that pretty much makes the most amazing materials out there. So yeah, it's really exciting. And that's the other thing in that article on Dab Etiquette. I wanted to mention that I have access to like pick the brains of two of what I feel like are just the smartest scientists in this industry right now. I mean, cutting edge shit. And there's a lot of like dab myths out there. So I wanted to write a piece and do it like for the podcast and write it up and everything about like the top 5 or top 10 dab myths. So what I need you guys to do, you can either email info@hotboxpodcast.com, or better yet, go to stuffstonerslike.com, find the dab etiquette article. It'll be in the links here, the show notes on the Hotbox site. And in the comments there, I'll just collect them all right there because that'll be really easy to do it that way. Just post what's the craziest, weirdest, just something you're curious about in regards to oils, extracts, dabs, anything like that. And yeah, I'll come through and find the best like 5 or 10 or whatever, write them up, and then I'll bring them to our scientists and I'll say, answer my questions, wizard, with your knowledge. And yeah, it'll be cool. They're actually, they want to like help educate because they also, as scientists, see that like, yo, there's a lot of bad shit going on, and we should fix that. You know, as good citizens and citizen scientists, we should all strive to make that better and fix that. So that's that. Again, the Dope Cup. It's at the Chateau Event Center. I should mention that. So if you're there, say hi, look for us. We'll be there hopefully Sunday, April 19th. So it starts at 6. It says that there are looking for participants to join for the annual signature event, the Dope Cup. Last year, the event drew 700 attendees. And they say this year will be bigger, better, with 1,000 plus expected to show up. So that's kind of cool. Very looking forward to it. Should be fun. I've never been to a Dope Cup. So yeah, I'll put links to all that stuff in the show notes, hotboxpodcast.com. So let's see. Oh, I did want to mention, I saw this and you know, we've kind of been seeing this more and more, and I don't know if it is the fact, I'm sure the cannabis is far more potent now, but we're able, because of the way the laws are changing, to do research to actually like analytically classify all of this stuff and be like, here are the data. Like we can actually see here's what's in it. This is potent. This is crap, you know. But yeah, I feel like articles like this is CBS News, for example. It's just a lot of like scare tactics, kind of just being like, oh, the weed of today is so much more potent than the weed of yesterday. It's like, well, yeah, duh. But I always kind of felt that should be a point in our favor. It's like alcohol, right? It was legal, right? And then it was illegal, right? Okay. And then it was legal again. Okay. And through the ages, like, it's killed people. It hasn't really gotten more potent, I guess. I mean, you could just drink Everclear or something, but I feel like there's not distillation technology that's being like, dude, I made this batch like so much more potent. You get to a certain point and you die, you know, like with weed, you can make it as potent as I guess you need to for whatever you're trying to do with it. And you're not going to die. Worst case, you'll just, you know, like fall asleep, and that'll be that. But again, this research comes from Shara Scientific, one of a handful of labs certified to test the potency of weed, and this is in Colorado. They say, quote, "We've seen a big increase in marijuana potency compared to where it was 20 or 30 years ago." I'm sorry. It's like I feel like look at any other industry like cars. It's like, you know, cars have gotten better over the years. Well, yeah, it would be weird if they hadn't, right? If it was 2015 and we were still here smoking stems and sticks and Tide Buds or whatever the fuck, or driving Model T still. It's like, well, yeah, things evolve and get better. But c'est la vie, I guess. They say, I would say the average marijuana potency is probably increased by a factor of at least 3. So our shit 3 times more potent than what their shit was 30 years ago. So that's what, like 10% each year. So that's all right. I feel like not quite Moore's law of like exponentially, you know, getting more potent like technology does, but still pretty decent. They say again, quote, "This, as far as potency goes, it's been surprising how strong a lot of the marijuana is." Lafrate said of the samples in his lab that they tested in recent months, he says, "We've seen potency values close to 30% THC, which is huge." And again, this is something I would like to run by because there's a bunch of different labs that do analytics and everything. So it would be interesting to poll them and be like, what's the most potent you've seen? What's the most potent you've seen? I did actually. There is a recreational shop that was kind of within driving distance. I mean, driving distance like 70, 80 miles for me, but it is called Mr. Doobie's, and it's the only like legal recreational shop around here. And this, again, I did a write-up, article, video, all that on YouTube and stuffsnerslike.com, so you should definitely check that out. But basically, like, he has some menus here. You got the sativas, right? Your sativas, and then you got your indicas. So we can market both sides of the buffalo, as they say. But yeah, I'm personally, I enjoy sativas, and I would never, ever, ever condone paying as much as this shit costs. But I understand you have to spend money to not be a criminal, right? Like when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, and the money hopefully eventually goes to a good cause and raises money to fix potholes and give schools upgrades and that kind of shit. But yeah, very, very overpriced. Coming from Montana, where let's say swim gets them for like 200 an ounce here and there, compared to this, which you can't even, we're not even talking ounces. Like, just get that out of your mind, right? We're talking grams, $18 a gram, $15 a gram if you get the party pack. Now, if, let's say, hypothetically, swim just want to like chill after work, it's Friday, feeling right, gonna get just tuned up a little bit, gonna go with the party pack, right? 3 grams. I don't know. That's Jim. I get it. Like, people that don't smoke that much, like 3 grams, that'll last you a bit, especially you can get up to like 20% with the train wreck, 21.5% of the super lemon haze as far as sativas go. And the indicas, they had something called Fruity Pebbles, I believe, which was the highest at 28.3, and then super sweet under that 26.41. An Afghan skunk at 26.34, all the way down to 13% of the Afghani Kush special. And again, I mean, I told the story on the YouTube video and in the article, but it was interesting that I happened to be in there at a time when there was a older couple in there, and they were just like this was a whole new world to them, and they were asking them all these questions, and I was just like, yeah, do your thing, man. That's totally, I mean, educate them. Like, they need to know that. So I don't know. Very expensive, but again, not a criminal. So how much is your freedom worth? And then I'm also curious, is there less of a paranoia associated with it as a preconception going into getting your buzz that makes people paranoid, right? Because like if you smoke illegal weed every now and then, maybe people will think about like, ooh, I could go to jail, this could ruin my life, this and that, and they will spiral into like this whole just terrible, bad trip, almost a bad stone trip, and they're just gonna have bad time. So I'm curious to see, like, I don't get the paranoia, but I've never been arrested for this or anything. Like, I've kept my nose clean, so to speak. So I have friends that have been, and they do have the fear in them, and when they do smoke, they're always like, ooh, like watching you over your back, big brother's right there with a knife ready to jump you. It's kind of creepy. So here, where you can just, is it worth paying that extra tax to like not have that feeling, or has it been muscle memory for so long? Are you still going to get that feeling, even though like I'm sure it'll take time, right? This is something that's going to take some time. But yeah, it's there. Definitely check it out. Tell Todd Hotbox said hi. Stuff Snurs Like says hi. Then yeah, I'd love to review some strains, but not at $18 a gram. I can't do it. But yeah, the article, I forget what it's called. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, hotboxpodcast.com, but it's like buying legal weed in Washington, legal recreational weed. Cause I don't have my card. So. Oh, let's see. They say that basically compared to the 80s, when the federal officials said the level was about 4%. Like, what is 4%? Like, I know, is that like here? That was 4%. Like that's, I don't know. That's not really much. But again, when it's new and so dangerous, and you could easily see how numbers, if they're like, oh, the weed back then is 4%, and it was the devil's weed, and the devil's weed now is 30%, so it must be like 26% more devilish or some shit. The NIDA, National Institute of Drug Abuse, right? The ones that had the legal federal weed going on before that got canned. They say the potency of marijuana has been steadily increasing over the past few decades, but a level of 20 or 30% THC is even greater than the Institute has reported in the past. As of 2012, it said marijuana confiscated by police agencies nationwide had an average of 15%. So if we look at the chart here, 15%, that's going to be anywhere between your Williams Wonder, your Sea Level, 15.6%, right? Your THC Brit, the Grape Ape, even, sure, 16.1. There you go. So yeah, I mean, not great, but good stuff, right? And not everyone smokes weed every day, all day, and dabs and oils, and like is able to do that and function. So you need lesser strains for people to get them in, get that endocannabinoid system primed, and then slowly you work your way through the menu if you can afford it, I guess. But yeah, interesting stuff. Let's see. They say, according to the Institute, higher concentrations of THC in marijuana could mean, quote, a greater chance of an adverse or unpredictable reaction, especially in new users. And, quote, for frequent users, it may mean a greater risk of addiction. Really, guys? I mean, I guess, do people get addicted to weed, or do we just enjoy smoking it? And like, I could quit at any time, right? I know that's what everybody says, right? But I don't know. I feel like I have this system in my body that, takes this thing, and I personally operate better when that thing is topped off, like at all times. More tolerant of people. I'm nicer. I'm smiling. Things are brighter. Everything's happy. It's like swim microdosing with magic mushrooms or something, just taking like a 1/4 gram or 1/2 gram. It just brightens the world up a little bit. It gets those receptors going, and they're there for a reason, right? If you don't use it, you lose it, and you become fucking wasty zombie bullshit. Can't turn into wasty zombie bullshit. Got to use it, keep that shit primed and going and operating, as my friend Kyle would say, at a proper maximal efficient operating temperature. So they say it just kind of goes on. It's like the concentrations can be manipulated by marijuana growers who crossbreed strains for increased potency. It's like, what other thing do you make that out to be a bad, weird thing like that? You're not like, ooh, Comcast and Time Warner, they're okay. Well, maybe people did. They were like, okay, that's not a good thing, but bad example. But like when a business is crossbreeding to increase potency, which is a good thing, it's not poison. We're not trying to kill the people that smoke it here. Like, we're doing this because it's good. We're going to get to a certain point of operating temperature with how much of these cannabinoids and which ones and when we get them into our system. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of an enlightenment happening, which is weird because the whole time we've been growing up, we've been told it's going to make you dumb. Don't be a dope. Like, don't smoke dope, you dope. That kind of shit. Like, it makes you have that perception that people that smoke all the time are stupid. And, sure, some of them are. People that don't smoke all the time are fucking stupid. It's just people. Like, people are stupid. There's enough of them. You're going to get stupid ones. You're going to get smart ones. It's just how it is. Also, they say the process of crossbreeding may also be responsible for another change in the makeup of much of the marijuana tested by Cheris Scientific. Many samples turned out to contain little or no cannabidiol or CBD, the compound that helps people believe that it will help with cancer, helps with seizures, stuff like that. They say that, potential medicinal uses. And we don't even know because, it was illegal to do studies on this kind of shit until just recently. And it's going to happen. Scientists, they say, are researching its possible role in treating neurodegenerative disorders such as Alzheimer's, Huntington's disease, as well as conditions like seizure disorders, anxiety, and the schizophrenias. So that was somewhat of a surprise. They say much more potent strain, less of the medicinal part. In light of the potential medicinal uses of CBD, they say, quote, I hope more studies are done, but certainly we have to standardize and put CBD in there to make sure the studies have the benefit. Well, the benefit is the whole plant, right? Then they also go on there talking about contamination. Now, this I agree with. This is a whole other thing, and this is where you can kind of talk about like medical and recreational. Like recreational smokers, we can handle a little contamination. Obviously, it's better if there's none. But in a place that has both, you would really hold the medical grade stuff to a higher set of standards, right? You don't want sick people getting contaminants in them from the plant that's supposedly helping them get better. But yeah, so they talk about they had this lab, Chair Scientific. They tested a bunch of samples that Colorado producers submitted, right? So they're going to say what is in this, probably GCMS, LCMS, something like that. It's going to say, okay, this is exactly what's in it. This is how much of what's in it, and yeah. So this is where I do believe we do need to do something. They say, quote, it's pretty startling just how dirty a lot of this stuff is. This is Lafrate, again, from the lab speaking. Some plants turned out to be harboring fungus, bacteria, or traces of heavy metals. And see, some fertilizers, got to watch out. Got to be careful what you're using. Got to go organic and gluten-free, right? Stupid. Yeah, they say it's a natural product. There's going to be microbial growth on it no matter what you do. So the questions become, what's the safe threshold? And which contaminants should we be concerned about? So yeah, it is interesting. It's new, but obviously, I guess, is that obvious? Like, you're smoking it. I mean, sure, it's going in your body. You don't want it all contaminated with gross fungus or, mites or whatever the hell else gets in people's plants. Definitely stuff like heavy metals and everything from fertilizers or whatever else could be getting in there. Some people may be flooding their rooms with CO2 or nitrogen. See, I don't grow, so I'm not quite sure, but I've heard that can end up in the plant, and then when you go to process it, it's in there. So you got to do more processing to get it out, but not everyone's doing that. So this, I feel like, is to blame, is to point the blame of the government. Because had they not been such dicks about this the whole time, we could have been doing all of this since the 60s. And imagine had we been doing what we're doing now. Like, look where we've come today. This is where we've come today. There's no PG, there's no VG in this. This is just extract. Like, this is something that a lab makes, and it's scientifically clean. We just figured this shit out. Because you would go to jail for figuring this out, which is ridiculous. So you get the stories that come out and they're like this, but it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of what you created. Like we couldn't do any of this studying until just recently. So now we're figuring all this out. Hopefully the what it comes down to is what you do with the information, right? If you're going to take all this information and clean up your shit and get all your fungus and your metals and all of that, your solvents or what have yous out of the stuff that the end users are smoking, then that's good. You need to analyze it. You need to see what's in it. And then you need to take the steps. And these labs should definitely be helping a little bit to educate people and be like, hey, we're the scientists. They're the scientists. We need to, here's what's in your shit. And here's how to, maybe not have it in your shit. And I know they do that. They have the symposiums and lectures and all that. But yeah, as more states do this, we're going to either get like a lot of really contaminated, gross shit, or we're going to go the other way and just everyone's game will be on point. Let's hopefully get our shit together and the game will be on point. So, oh, well. Let's see. Oh, this just happened. Charlotte Green. You guys remember her? She was the one up in Alaska that quit her job and was just like, fuck it, I'm out. Article on stuffstores.com about how she got raided. Like, and I feel like, and it sucks because you need to poke the hornet's nest, but I feel like we need to. The people that poke the hornet's nest should not have the substance in question in them, on them, around them. Like, we need to nominate non-smokers and whatnot to be the people that poke the hornet's nest, because I feel like sometimes you poke the hornet's nest and then you get stung a bunch, and that's kind of what happened. The police took weed and impounded Dodge Dakota and Jeep Liberty. This was on Friday last week. Green, of course, the former television reporter who gained notoriety when she quit her job live in TV September with an expletive, the F expletive, and announced she's becoming an advocate to legalize the recreational use of marijuana in Alaska, which has happened or is happening. They've passed it, but they're still like working things out, I guess. Like, just here, you remember how it was? It's not like that anymore. There, it's worked out. Like, it was legal. Then the government made it illegal. Now we're making it legal again. So just do that. Yeah, she said, she basically said, quote, "We don't sell any recreational marijuana. We don't sell any medical marijuana. This is a place for card holders to come and share their own cannabis. The residents, it's a home, multiple medical marijuana card holders, as well as the club." She said, quote, "I saw them uproot a couple of marijuana plants. They took some bongs and pipes and phones and computers. That's pretty much it." And that's pretty much what they did. You guys remember a while back when Ian's shop got raided over in Montana, medical shop there. And that's what they did. They're like looking for other drugs, but they're taking all of your legal drugs, but I guess federally not, right? And then, yeah, it's just to scare you, right? Just be like, hey, get out of town, because we're not dealing with your pot selling kind, you know? It's ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. By opening back up bright and early, I love this. Less than 24 hours later, after the police failed scare tactic, she says, at the Alaska Cannabis Club, have made it clear that the will of the people is stronger than any force they have, and we aren't going anywhere. I hope not, but man, I'm so torn with this. Like, good for you. That's so awesome. Like, F them for doing that, but man, watch your back out there, because they're not, like, if you tell cops they can't do something, their reaction is to do it, like, with force. I feel like it's all like, no sir, yes sir, no sir, but as soon as you're like, oh, you can't do that, they're like, oh yeah. Like, it sucks. That's how it is, but you gotta like fix that system before we can have people that have federally illegal things. Even if your state said, like, federally it's still illegal, and we have to change that before you can go poking the hornet's nest and then being like smoking and shit. Like, it could backfire. And I hope you stay safe, Charlotte. I hope you do. You're doing awesome work up there. I'd love to get you on the show and just say hi and talk to you about the raid and just, you know, what you're doing up there. It's cool. If you want to come down to Washington, check out some liquid dabs or some Midas or whatever. Well, I don't know what we're calling it, what it's being called yet, but I kind of like the Midas because it's gold. I don't know. Alaska voters, of course, last year approved a ballot measure legalizing the recreational use of marijuana, but it's still illegal to sell the drugs. So that's like, oh yeah, you guys can have weed if you have these tax stamps, but yeah, you know, the darndest thing, we're fresh out of tax stamps. Well, thanks, government. Appreciate it. Of course, the Anchorage Police Department came out with a quote here, and they said it's very important that people don't try to jump the gun until the state sets our other rules and protocols for the sale and commercialization of marijuana. So don't jump the gun. And of course, as with all marijuana raids, no arrests have been made or charges filed. So you can check out that article. I'll put links to it in the show notes. And that article is over on stuffstonerslike.com. So definitely check that out. I feel like hosting a show is a lot easier with somebody else. I want to smoke and drink, but I don't want like a bunch of silence. So I know, you know what I'll do? We'll play little tunes, right? And then I can go I can have my smoke, and it won't be silent, right? Okay, this will be good.
Ooh. Smoking weed off trees. Smoke. I'm a cannabis sack smoking backpack toting mad rap quote macho you how bad your raps are broken. Facebook poking rhyme riding with the same goal, and are we gonna be writing rhymes till we're old man? Matt Lee 9 to 5, 5 to 3, smoking weed the hardest work electric eel in this whole world breed. Damn that hole is deep, that's why I'm smoking on the freak, just to keep my whole wide world scoping breeze. I don't buy that Schedule 1 political hypocritical bullshit commonly used to fool kids into thinking they rule shit. And if you do, you're a silly goose on the loose, ripping through this excuse of common confusion. My eyes turn red, focus gets the best of my attention to the detail. How the fuck am I gonna learn how to fly to the moon? Then NASA lost funding, now I'm sitting on the couch about to zoom the album down. So spark it up, inhale, slow, pass it to the left. Before you blow it out, make sure to save your breath. I got that one hit of quitter, make you cough up and spit a little drip, drip, dribble from your lip, and then you
Back up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go, when we roasting balls, chillin' like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's how we roll. So pack up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go, when we smoking weed, chillin' like a villain in the middle of the street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's what I need.
Now a lot of songs wrote about a plant, smoking bowls every day, step away, but I can't. Inanimate love, absurd but sir. Have you ever puffed herb till your vision gets blurred? This green mistress, inject straight from the biscuits. We insist, puff, pass, left, hit this. A little smoky smoke ain't never done damage. Someone blazing for the nation, now someone get me a stand. These overlords spend $500 a second to arrest your brothers and sisters. Now it's your lives that wreck it. That's over $50 million. You holla. Now what shall we do about this problem? Smoke pot, sit around and babysit the couch. Now at the pumps, we're all getting gouged. And look outside, is that an enraged crowd? If you work on Wall Street, it's starting to get loud.
Back up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go, when we roasting balls, chillin' like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's how we roll. So pack up a bud, light it up, I don't give a fuck. Where we go, when we smoking weed, chillin' like a villain in the middle of my street. Feeling pretty good, cause that's what I need.
All right. Sorry, I'm gonna have to figure out a better way to do that while I'm recording shows by myself. Hopefully, actually, we're gonna start doing this with my homie that works at our lab with me. And me and him will do the show, but he works and doesn't get off till like midnight, so I get off at like 5. But the weekends, definitely have to do that. So, all right, let's see. Moving on. Article in the Washington Post. Thought this was kind of interesting. The DEA getting less funding, budget pressures, as the headline says, and in turn pulling up, as they say, less weed. They do have a nice graph. I'll show you since we're using Hangouts here. We can do things like this during the show, and now you can see this little graph. So 94, right? Kind of like high going into 94, and then kind of low, and then 98, right? 02, still just kind of back and forth. No big deal, whatevs. And then 04, 06, it's like, and then 2010, holy fuck, what the fuck? Just completely out of control. And then going back down. So yeah, crazy how that kind of works. They say the number of marijuana plants seized and destroyed fell slightly last year, and this is by the DEA, remained sharply lower than the record numbers seen at the dawn of the Obama administration. According to the DEA's records, 4.3 million marijuana plants were wasted last year. I mean, completely wasted. You want to talk about drug abuse? Boom, that right there. And I mean, just like you could have done so much with that. Like, you just destroyed it. Just like, no, you can't have it. Man, I'm destroying it. Stupid plant. I hate this plant. 4.4 million was the year before, 10.4 million in 09. 10.4 million plants. Holocaust shit. And no, I don't mean to like compare it to something that terrible, but like there's so many plants that just completely wasted. They say the plants were destroyed by law enforcement officers under the auspices of the DEA's Cannabis Eradication Program. This program allocates money from the Department of Justice Asset Forfeiture Fund to 128 state and local law enforcement agencies. The agencies use the money to locate and destroy indoor and outdoor weed grow sites. So I should show you. They have a nice little like image of their badge. Check this out. Marijuana eradication team. The eagle has landed. I love that. The eagle has landed. Just ripped up all your crops. Marijuana eradication teams, they crisscross the countryside in helicopters looking for grow sites. That's the pigs and the choppers Mr. Dr. Green Thumb was always talking about. Gotta have your grow shield up, right? So they can't detect that. They occasionally become overzealous in carrying out their missions. The governor, Georgia's governor's task force for drug suppression, they earned notoriety last year when they raided a retiree's garden after misidentifying okra as marijuana. Is that weed? Ah, fuck it. Rub. Down on the floor. Oh, that's just okra. It's just Oprah. It's fine. Last month, a member of DEA's marijuana eradication team in Utah warned lawmakers that a medical marijuana bill would lead inevitably to stoned rabbits in the state's forests. I feel like nobody wants to be that asshole that just like has to say that, but the government, like the orders get handed down. Right. And it's like that movie Visioneers with Zach Galifianakis when they're all like doing their, and the tube comes down and he like unrolls it and it's like the orders for, I feel like the tube comes down and someone's like, and it's like, what is it this time, Bill? Well, they want us to say that it will inevitably lead to stoned rabbits in the state's forests. All right, well, fuck, we better start drawing straws. And like, I feel like nobody wants to be that asshole that has to make that statement so that it can be turned into an article on the Washington Post and then picked up and made reality, basically. But it happens. Like, it happens. Stoned rabbits, really? Like, do you really believe that? Or did you have to say that so you could keep your job and 401k? It's okay. You don't have to lie to us. We know. They say for fiscal year 2014, the DEA estimated that the asset forfeiture program provided $18 million to fund the cannabis eradication program. Wow, 18 million whole dollars. I feel like Colorado like pooped that in a second or two with all of the just from the recreational money that they've made from selling weed. 4.3 million marijuana plants destroyed. That comes out to about $4.20 a plant. Whoa. They say in recent years, funds available for cannabis eradication have been drying up. Really? Weird. That's so weird. You know what else has been drying up? Funds for the witch eradication program. Yeah, witch eradication. Okay. Who's on first? Public opinion toward marijuana has shifted rapidly over the same period. You know, ever since we got the internet and figured out that you were lying this whole time. Like that's totally what. It's not like, oh, all of the sudden public opinion has shifted. No, people got educated and they're like, actually, you guys have been totally lying this whole time. And then, you know, we wrote about that and we posted it and then everyone saw it and then that became reality. See, two can play at this whole reality generation game here. So just keep that in mind and try and cut the cord on the internet or something. Together, they say these factors have caused state and local governments to prioritize more serious and deadly drug threats. Also in the same schedule as marijuana, like meth and heroin. So maybe a federal rescheduling, a re-legalization, just repeal prohibition. I don't know. There's a ton of ways to do it. But like I said before, I do still feel like you can have a medical and a recreational side, and the medical side should be held to a higher responsibility of quality of product and everything. And the recreational side, just smoke whatever. Like if you want the higher product, pay for it. If not, then smoke dirt weed. Who cares? Grow it yourself. No one, like, you should be able to at least have that choice. Let's see. They say that there's 2.7 million plants destroyed. California alone contributed 63% of the total haul last year, but California's numbers have fallen sharply during the Obama administration because they were raiding Montana and other states. No, they say taking the national numbers down with them, quote, coinciding largely with the downsizing of and then ultimately the disbanding of the state's nearly 30-year-old campaign against marijuana planting program, or camp. Don't camp, bro. Don't camp. DEA assist annual marijuana seizures in California have fallen over 60% since 2010. And that's Paul Armentano, deputy director of NORML. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's not like you're going to lose your jobs. Like, there are plenty of other shithead drug addict shit like that you could go after, people taking advantage of drug addicts and everything, stringing them along, whatever. Like there's a lot of shit that could be fixed. You could also get retrained to go work in like facilities that actually help people rather than treating things like meth addiction and opiate addiction, stuff like that, as a criminal thing. You know, you could go maybe work in an ibogaine treatment center or something like that and get yourself better, and then, you know, reintroduced into society. I don't know. You don't need to be like shooting people and pepper spraying kids in the face. That's for sure. But yeah, and again, kind of talking about that, another article over on stuffstarslike.com, doing the poll, and we've seen the poll, right? Everyone's been like, oh, look, the poll on Facebook, it's like 49-51, like 49% are for it, 51% are against it. And I feel like every time that poll happens, it's really close to being like neck and neck. But now we're definitely seeing the weight shift over, and this latest poll saying 61% of Americans now support it. So it's literally a matter of time before this just gets opened up, and not even state by state, but just like on a country level, we can all agree and be like, okay, can we just fucking do this now? And everyone's like, okay, yeah, I guess we better just do it. And yeah, that makes money, eases tension on the prison system. I mean, like, there's so many benefits. I'm not even going to go into it right now at the end of the show. You guys know. It's like preaching to the choir. You guys totally know. But yeah, I do like that there's numbers that you can actually link people to and be like, well, look, you know, more people are supporting it now. They say over 6 in 10 voters agree with legalizing state-regulated sales of marijuana. 61% of voters agree that state-regulated sales of marijuana should be legal. And then it goes into like Republicans. I don't care about that. It's just, there's the numbers. It's good. So yeah, and like even more, if you that's like straight up like legalization, relegalization, whatever you want to call it, the numbers go up significantly. They're talking like over 72% if you just phrase it as in like, we're gonna reduce numbers in jail time, we're gonna instead give you a fine. Like way more people are into that, which is weird. It's like, so what is your hang up? You're okay like saying that you're not going to do jail time, but you should still have to pay if you get caught with it. Like that, it turns into a weird thing that now I have to chase you and make you have weed, and like that's the only way I'm going to get this money because I'm a cop. I feel like let's just completely fix it and not like be like, well, we're going to just make it a small fine. It's like, no, I'm not going to pay you to not be a criminal. That's so weird. I go from one state where I'm completely fine to another state where now I'm a criminal. Like, that is the dumbest, weirdest thing ever. I don't. Sorry. It's silliness. Article over on Main Street here want to say that they are 8 states they feel are likely next for legalization. So what states are they talking about here? DC, Alaska, Oregon, and those have, I feel like DC's happening. Florida, which is interesting. And then of course we have Colorado and Washington, Oregon and Alaska. Yeah, so it's gonna be state to state. Florida, they're saying the next one because of the CBD bill, stuff like that. Maine, interesting. So the vote up 55%, 45 against in Lewiston, 52 to 48 in favor in South Portland. So it depends on where you're at there in Maine. Massachusetts going to do it, possibly. Michigan, possibly. Minnesota. It's like, so do we need, I feel like we know what works. Like we can establish a system at a level that it works for every state. I guess it's cool to try different things and have different states that we can try different things, but I don't want it to get to a point where every state's doing their own experiment and some states are just completely effed and shitty in regards to it, and other states it's like, you know, paradise. I moved here to work in this industry. Like I left my house, my stuff. Like all I have is what I fit in my car, and then living here, like with a cool ass roommate that I work with, which is awesome. I'm super stoked that worked out well. I could have ended up with somebody not so awesome to live with, but like people, and I wrote about this in a weed refugee article on stuffsnarslike.com, talking about, you know, we've talked about this on the show about how families that have children that have seizures a lot, Dravet syndrome or whatever, move their whole lives to the states that they can get that medicine and not be quote unquote a criminal. And I was like, that's a powerful thing, right? Like something that we have been told has been illegal for so long, yet so many people do it in the face of possible jail time, possible, like all of these problems that go along with the criminalization of what you're doing with that plant. But we still do it, right? And some people like passionately, like we really, really love it, which is insane that it's something the government has said is so bad, and it's so it's interesting to me to see that, like, even to a higher level than that, uprooting whole families and being like, well, we're just going to live here in this cool state because they're not treating me like a piece of shit criminal. And I feel like more people are going to do that. And you are, if we only have a few states, like 5 or less, that end up legalizing it, all of the cool dope ass people are going to move to those 5 states. So I guess what I'm saying is that we should get those states like close to each other so we can all hang out, right? And be dope ass people together. Yeah. So New York, New Mexico, also on that list of possible states to legalize soon. So yeah, it's really interesting. And that's, I mean, there's so much going on. I wanted to bring the Hotbox back. It still gets a lot of people interested in it. And I feel bad that like we can't do shows more often, but this is definitely this one, the Jam Hole, Attack of the Androids. Those are kind of the core 3 that I'm gonna keep going while I'm living here, changing up my 9 to 5, working in a lab and learning science, learning cool science, having access to amazingly smart scientists that I can just ask them. So again, check out the dab etiquette article, drop a comment. What is, you know, your dab myth? Like, what is something that you've heard that you've been like, I don't know, is that true? I have a list I'm going to present to them, and yeah, we'll get our answers scientifically. So I'm definitely excited for that. I think that's really it for now. I got to go eat because in this town everything closes at 8, and I'm probably gonna be late. And then I feel bad because I like go in and I'm like, oh well, can you cook? And they're like, well, we actually just turned the thing off. It's like, well, nothing else is open, and I didn't bring pots and pans. Anyway, not your problem, not even my problem. I'm completely loving it here. And I'm excited to work in the industry that I've been smoking and preparing for. I feel like I've worked in kitchens and all that, and I would wash dishes and stuff. And then like I've smoked a lot of weed, and I've sold weed allegedly, Swim sells weed and all that. And it's all of the dealing with weed and washing dishes has prepared me well, because so far at the lab, like I've weighed shit and then I've washed dishes, and like it's awesome. I could do this all day. But yeah, I feel very blessed to be able to do that and smoke these and do little experiments, making spliffs and fun stuff like that. So keep in touch, keep online, hotboxpodcast.com. That's the site. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you'll know when these shows go live, doing it through Hangouts. If you go to hotboxpodcast.com/live, there's a page with the video and a chat room that's on IRC. I got a web thing in there, so you can definitely check that out. Also, check out our friends over at stuffstonerslike.com. Yeah, check out that article. Drop me a comment on what your dad myth is, or just email info@hotboxpodcast.com. Write us a review on iTunes. Always appreciate that. Check out our friends over at Sword and Scale. Mike Boudet does an amazing true crime podcast over there. And yeah, that's about it. I'll catch y'all probably in a week or two. Yeah, we'll see. So have a great week.
Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. We're the ghosts in the ether. Either you've never seen us or you're a believer. I go bump in the night, puff buds when I write. Spend a lot of time staring up at the sky. Up late at night and lightning. Anyone we come into contact with that wants a ride. Wanna try one of mine? Two of yours, three of his, four of hers. Sounds like the right way to make this cat's night perfect. That's how it goes when these kids get a hold of a bunch of LSD hits. What's next? Dimethyltryptamine, okay, but only if you bring the machine out to play. Sounds like the best recipe with a set and setting that agrees with my registry. Technology, philosophy, physics, and astronomy. Logic ain't monopoly, offers entropy, offering no stopping autonomy. Honestly, dropping bombs on you and me constantly. How to kill the mockingbirds, eye view hunting the haunted awkwardly, walking backwards out of the ball pit. We need an exorcist, nah, we just need exercise, shit, and some litmus paper to test the lie. So line them up and make them testify. Sure, we can all pretend the system is witnessing life broken, worthless. Hold your tongue, a bunch of jerks here, getting hung up on the phone, ready to get cold and drunk.